Alright, so it's getting quite chilly out here, as you see. 5 layers, 3 layers, hats, everything is on here. So it's about time that we start thinking about insulating the van. However, first we need to do the sound deadening. So what we've got here is some dodo dead mat. I think that's kind of insulting to the dodo.
This is our roll of sound deadening here.
Yes.
It's kind of this really foil taped, thick rubberized putty stuff.
And it's very, very, very heavy. So what we need to do is measure up the flat areas that we're gonna have to stick it on and then cut it to size. So let's go figure that out. Alright, so why do we need to sound deaden these panovans before we start insulating?
Well, noise, obviously. There are 2 ways that noise is created and reverberated around these vans. The first one, that happens in all vehicles, is road noise. As you're driving along, the tyres make noise, and the wheel wells, and so on and so forth, and that gets reverberated all around the van. Second area, which panel vans have a big problem with,
is vibration. Actually, in all honesty, Sprinter vans and VW Crafter, whichever, the same thing, have already done a pretty good job at cancelling out the noise. Because when you see this like giant panel here, as you can see, what they've done is they've introduced stiffening to the panel.
They've actually bonded this with some sort of sealant, so they haven't welded it on, they've bonded it, and that gives some sort of protection and flexibility to this, whilst also structurally supporting this so this doesn't vibrate as much.
Yeah.
Saying that, still vibrates.
Yeah, so realistically, what we need to do is we need to stiffen each of these. So we're treating this as a panel and not this whole rib section.
And we only need to cover 30% of these flat panel areas. We don't need to put sound deadening on all of this, because even though it will work, that's a lot of money and weight, unnecessary money and weight, that would be spent on the van. We need to actually mark out and measure where our roof fan and our skylight are going, because we don't want to put sound deadening there, because it would just be a waste. So we've been measuring the van already. This is kind of the rough preliminary drawings that we have at the moment. This is one of the side panels without the door on, and this here is the roof from like looking up. So these are all the ribs that run along the inside. Now we only need to put sound deadening on the flat panels, and as we said, we only need to cover 30%. So what we're going to do, we're going to work out the surface area of these panels. We're going to take 30% of that, cut a piece to size, stick it on. Okay, so we need to cut this to size. So you can buy this stuff actually pre-cut into panels, but it's much more cost effective to actually just buy a big roll and cut it yourself.
Right, so now that we have cut up the pieces for the roof, what Simon's going to do, he's going to alcohol the area, so the area is nice and clean, and then we're going to attempt to stick these on.
So now that we've got them cut to size, all we need to do is peel this off, and then there's adhesive here on the actual sticky black stuff that just straight on the roof. Now normally that wouldn't be a problem, but since it's below 10 degrees and actually it's pretty close to freezing, we actually need to heat up the area where we're sticking it against, because adhesive works best when it's warm. So I suggest you do it when it's warm, but if that's not an option, use a heat gun or a hairdryer.
This roller, this is a hard rubber roller, and I was lucky enough to find this in my art box. I think you could just do it with a normal paint roller as well, I think that's fine, but this is handy that it's a hard surface. Alright, so that is the ceiling done, and we're gonna measure the rest of the cavities and little panels that we need, and then we're gonna go inside and cut them in there because I cannot feel my fingers, my toes, and frankly, if I feel anything, it's pain.
Bottom one sounds the least deadened by what we put on. I'd say the top one sound the most deadened.
Yeah.
But the middle ones are pretty close.
The bottom one sounds a little bit louder. Yeah. A little bit more high pitched. It has deadened it.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, definitely here. Definitely. And this top one. A lot. Wow, listen. Oh yeah.
There's definitely a difference.
Definitely.
Yeah, can you check the bottom?
Yeah, what about the bottom one? Ooh. Again, not as much.
Yeah.
I'd say you could probably get away without doing it, but since we have the material, we may as well. By the way, the links to all these products, including the sound deadening, is in the description below if you did want to get any.
So what's remaining on the walls is actually just the door, but since we're cutting this window out, we don't need to put sound deadening here. We're just going to put sound deadening in these 3 cavities here, and then we're going to do the wheel arches.
It's not really that tinny.
Can you see with the floor's deadened.
Anyway, we've got some spare, so we may as well just put it over there. So I think we're done for sound deadening for now. Pretty much all the gaps are filled. Everything does seem to be reasonably well deadened. However, we might find out that we need some more, but we only used half that big roll. I mean, we still need to do the headliner, but we're going to do all of that all in one go. Also, we are going to have like insulation in here, and then a vapor barrier, and then some sort of cover. So all of those will also sound deadened. So it won't be its final state when we're driving. Take it for a test drive today. But it should definitely be quieter. I'm sure someone could attribute these to notes on the piano and create a song.
I don't have any more hands.